Why, hello there, and welcome to a mediocre Monday with Alexia. Except today, I don't think I'm going to be singing a song, so welcome to a Monday with Alexia. I have tried to record this video so many times, and for some reason, it just hasn't worked out. But we're going to try again today and see if this is the one. I wanted to share where my life is at right now. Because it's been a wild ride and God has revealed a lot and it's just been really cool. So yeah, this is just me chatting, so if you don't want to hear that and you'd rather hear me sing, there's a ton of other videos you can watch, but this one I'll probably just be chatting, so yeah. So in order to go into the story that I want to go into, we're gonna have to backtrack a few months, about 6 to 8 months ago, where I was applying for jobs and I found one in the area that was worship leading for students and Sundays. So it was like, I think it was like Wednesdays and Sundays. And so there was a head worship leader, and then like this position would be right under that, helping with Sundays and Wednesday nights. And then just like any events that they would have, worship nights, whatever. And I was like, this on paper sounds perfect. Like, literally, this is what I've been looking for. And so I applied, and they had been pretty far through the interview process, and they're like, we're going to slow down so that we can interview you. They told me that. And so they interviewed me, and I think it went really well. I think I would have had another. But from my community and from God, I felt like He said to stay, because I would have had to move cities. And start all over again. And I also think I wasn't ready at the time. But yeah, so I said no, because I felt like God was saying to stay and planted where I was. And I was so frustrated because I'm like, why would you tell me to stay when this looks so perfect? But I was like, okay, if you say to stay, you got a better plan. I will be more invested in my community. I'll be more invested in my job. Like, I'm just gonna stay where I am, stay planted, and just see what happens. So I'm like, you know what? Like, maybe He has a better plan for me with my job. Fast forward about 5 months, 6 months, and I learned that I was losing my job to a store closing. And so I was like, I could have said yes to this job, God, like months ago, and then I wouldn't be experiencing this. Just super frustrating, because I'm like, I don't see where you are in this, because there's this opportunity, you told me to say no, and now I'm losing my job. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And so, through a lot of prayer and application and stuff, I found a new job. And there's just so many cool things that have been set up through this job. And even in this job, I'm like, why am I here? Again, it's one of those things that I didn't expect to be doing. I don't know. I just look at my major and my experience and stuff, and then I see where I am, and I'm like, it's not necessarily what I went to school for. But I don't know. That's a lot of people's stories, actually. But, to backtrack again, because I'm getting ahead of myself, I just cracked myself up, because I had a whole prayer, and I was like, God, I do not want to interview again. I'm so over the interview process. It just sucks. I don't want to interview again. I did interview for a couple jobs, but this job that I did get, I did not interview for. So there was an answered prayer number 1. Answer prayer number 2 is I asked God, I want a dream. I want a dream where you tell me what to do. And then I kind of forgot I prayed that prayer. And then I had a dream, like 2 nights after. And in this dream, I was sleeping. So it was kind of Inception, because I was like sleeping in real life, and then I was sleeping in my dream. And then I felt a pressure at the end of my bed, as if someone sat down. I started praying because I've dealt with really physical spiritual warfare, like seeing things, having dreams, having sleep paralysis. So I was like, So I started praying. And then I felt a hand on my leg, but it wasn't like a hand that was like scratching or grabbing or pulling. It was like a hand that like felt warm, and it was like a touch, like almost like motherly, if that makes sense. Kind of like if your mom sat at the edge of your bed while trying to wake you up and put a hand on your leg and was like, "All right, honey, like time to wake up." And then I like started blinking my eyes awake and like looking up, and I looked up and I saw Jesus, and he just said, "I'm with you." And then I woke up. And I actually forgot I had that dream for like 2 days. So 4 days after praying this, I still kind of didn't consciously understand that I had a dream. So like when you're waking up, you just like everything kind of flies away. But then I was thinking about it and praying later, and then I was reminded that I had this dream. And I was also reminded that there were other things happening in that dream. But like when you're waking up, you're not fully conscious yet. So you're like blinking awake, you're trying to be conscious. You're not quite there yet, things are fuzzy. And that's what was happening with me. But once I like thought about it more and reflected, I realized that there were other voices in the room. So I'm there, laying down with my head right there. I hear a voice from over here where my door is. And Jesus looks up at the voice, and the voice says, "This is the voice." Not that voice. But this voice said, "I am so," what did he say? "She has no idea what's coming for her." And then Jesus just nodded. He didn't say anything. And this voice was God. And then there's a bunch of like angels around the room. Like I didn't see them, but I could like feel their presences around the room, like on the top of the room. And they were all saying different things. Like one of them was like, "I'm so excited for her." Other one's like, "I'm rooting for her." Just things along those lines. And so there was like so much talking in this dream that I had. But yeah, when I saw Jesus' face and he said, "I'm with you," that's when I woke up. And honestly, I would love to describe his face, but it's almost like I saw nothing and I saw everything at the same time. Like such a gentle expression, and I don't know how to describe his face because it's like indescribable, and like I didn't really see it, but I saw it. I don't know how to put that to words, but I just knew it was him, and that's what matters. And yeah, so prayer number 2 was answered. And I was like, "All right, you did not tell me what to do, so I'm a little frustrated. But you did say that you're with me, so I'm going to take that as a win, and I'm going to follow along with that." So every time that I've had a little struggle with wherever I'm going, I'm like, "Nope, he said he's with me." And I actually had a little panic because I was listening to a speaker, and they were talking about something about jobs and like not moving jobs, or like staying planted, or doing your dreams, or I don't know, it was something like that. And I started panicking. I'm like, "God, am I doing the wrong thing, like by accepting this job that has nothing to do with my dreams," and like all this different stuff. And he was like, "No." And I saw it in my mind in all caps, "No." And then he said, "Remember the dream that I gave you? I said that I'm with you." And I just laughed because I was like, he just shouted at me. But sometimes you need that. So yeah, anyway, all that to say, I'm working a completely different job from what I was doing before, but at the same time, a lot of my experience carried over, so some of it's similar. But yeah, it's been fun. I think I enjoy it and everything. I think where I'm tripped up sometimes, and I say sometimes because I think I used to be a lot more tripped up about this than I am now. But just the thought of like, "Oh, I'm not doing my dreams. Am I failing at life? Are they never gonna happen? Blah, 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 blah." And now I'm kind of like, it'd be really cool if they happened, and I'm still hoping, and I'm still working towards it, and all the things. But also, if they don't, like, the world's gonna keep spinning. Things are gonna be okay. I'm still taken care of. There are glimmers in life every day. I am so blessed. And I actually had a conversation with someone. This is a sidetrack, a derailment from the current thought. So please follow along with me on this choo choo train that's heading this way. But they were learning about Solomon and how wise he was. And yet he had all these women, all this money, everything at his disposal. And he just said it was all meaningless in Ecclesiastes, that book that he had written in the Bible. And I was thinking, I've always thought of this as like, oh, he was really rich, you know? But then this person that I was talking to was like, we are Solomon. We are the rich ones of the day. Like, we have food at our disposal. We can choose any food that we want. We have entertainment at our disposal. We can choose any entertainment we want. We can choose what we want to do in a day. We get to go to work. Like, we are Solomon. And it's just crazy because I've never thought about it that way, and just like how blessed we are, and just like when he said entertainment at our disposal and food at our disposal, I was like, whoa, I am rich. Not as rich as I'd like to be. But I mean, look at this space around that you see in this frame. Like, I have art around, I've got tapestries, I've got quilts that people have made me. Like, I have a lot of things that I've been gifted and that I've been able to buy, and I'm just super grateful. So anyway, all that to say that I guess the things that I thought were important maybe aren't as important as I originally thought, and that's hard for me to reconcile sometimes, because why dream if they're not going to happen? I think that's where I get stuck sometimes. So, because everyone's like, dream big. But also, like, the passage in Hebrews, and I think I've mentioned this before, I think it's Hebrews 11, the by faith chapter, where it's like, by faith, they all followed God, and they did not see the promise. And I'm like, so what's the point of the promise then if we're not going to see it? But also, I believe that when we die, we will be resurrected. And so we will get to see the promise fulfillment, maybe through the next generation or through someone else, or through God's promise to other people, or the promise and the prayers that we prayed over others, but we didn't get to see the fulfillment in our lifetime. We see it later. I don't know how that works. I've never been to heaven. I have written, and I want to come out with an album. Maybe I'm spoiling this. Should I spoil this? I don't know if I'll spoil all of it, but I'm hopefully coming out with an album within the next year. But I'm hoping to come out with an album this next year that talks about a lot of the struggle that I've been going through. And something that I've noticed lately is that I don't want to sing songs just about the struggle, because I feel like all my songs have been there, like in the sad place. And I want to sing more praise songs, but I've never really written a praise song. So I was practicing today just to like throw some words out there, sing a little bit, see what happens. Nothing happened because I've never written a praise song before. I was like, whoa, this is like a new frame of mind for me, which is really cool, because I want to give God praise. I don't want to constantly be requesting things from him. Like, I want to get more into the Lord's Prayer and how the Lord's Prayer works, and just like thanking him for what he's done and thanking him for what he's doing, and praising him instead of just making my requests all the time. Not that that's bad, that's good. Like, we hear about the woman who came to the judge and was like, this is my request, and she kept coming to him until he granted her request. And we're told to ask, seek, pray. Like, keep knocking at the door and it will be opened. So that's the thing. But for me, with a new state of mind, I feel like I want to start praising more, talking about God more, not so much my struggle. And I want it to be a redemptive story of like, here's the struggle, but this is what God's doing in it, not just like, here's the struggle. I want the hope in it. So that's been something else that's been really cool, because I don't think I've ever been in this place in my life. Like, I think this is a new development in general. So we're making a lot of change, but yeah, that's where I'm at in life right now. I have not been here on this channel for like a month or so because of all this change in my life recently. So I figured I would just drop it down, and then you can learn maybe something from it. You're here, so that's cool. This is why I sing, is because this is what you get when I talk. You get 18 minutes of me chatting. Well, I'll edit it, but right now it's 18 minutes. Anyway, I hope this encouraged you somehow. I feel like I talked in a giant circle, and I don't know if I ever made it in the middle, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a great week, and I'm excited to see you in the next video. Or, I always think it's interesting when people say that, because it's like, I'm not necessarily seeing you, but you're seeing me, so I'm excited that you're gonna see me in the next video. That's a little janky. Anyway, thanks for watching.